I was at CanJam in New York recently, and whilst there I saw something which made me stop and go, why has no one done that before? Now, when you have a DAC, you either have a full desktop unit, and you need the box itself, you need a USB cable, a power cable, a pair of XLR cables, and even if you have a portable device, typically you're going to need a USB cable from your laptop to that, and then the unit itself, and then a 4.4mm to XLR adapter, and it was not until I saw this product that I thought, yeah, why has no one made a product that just goes from USB to XLR? And that's exactly what Woo Audio has done. The Phantom DAC is a unique form factor device from Woo Audio that plugs straight into a USB port and provides a direct connection to an amp. There are XLR and RCA variants available with a couple different options for cable length, and the overall feel and construction is top-notch. The form factor is what really drew me to this device at first, because yes, there's plenty of compact and portable devices, DACs, amps and dongles on the market, but hardly anything, almost nothing, that is a true all-in-one with no cables or adapters needed. So I like that a lot, but this is not a cheap device, coming in at over $500. So does it also have the sound quality to back it up? Well, I'm pleased to say that it certainly does, and in quite a unique fashion. I spent some time listening to the Phantom DAC on both headphones and speakers, and one of the first things that really jumped out at me was that it sounds slightly tubey. Now, I thought maybe this was just placebo, because this is from Woo Audio, who is mostly known for their tube amplifiers, so maybe I was just expecting it to sound like that, and therefore placeboing myself into hearing that difference. But when A/Bing against some other DACs and even doing a bit of blind testing, those qualities still remained. It's overall a bit warm in presentation, but not soft. It's got really quite an incisive treble and a low end that is fuller sounding than neutral, but not so far as to be overbearing or bloated. The mid-range is pushed forward slightly in the presentation, but partly helped by that incisive treble, it's really quite nicely textured. It doesn't have that over smoothness to it, and it's just kind of got the best aspects of a slightly stereotypical tubey sound signature. I did measure the Phantom DAC after doing my subjective evaluation, which, by the way, I always do my listening first so that the measurements don't bias what I'm hearing, and I probably shouldn't have been surprised to see that there are some objective characteristics which could explain why it sounds like this. There's a lot about the Phantom DAC which objectively is absolutely terrific. Jitter is practically perfect, crosstalk is extremely low, as is the output noise. Where things start to differ is the harmonic distortion profile itself. Just playing a 1 kHz tone, we can see that whilst the synad figure itself isn't super high, it's because of a predominantly second-order dominated distortion profile, which for those who don't know, is quite similar to a single-ended trioed tube amp. I'm not 100% sure if this behavior is by design, but the Phantom DAC is based around an ESS DAC chip with a compact discrete output stage, and it is behaving differently to most other ESS DAC implementations that I've tested. It is also genuine balanced and outputs 3.4 volts for the XLR version or 1.7 volts for the RCA version. But regardless of whether it's intention or a happy accident, the end result is that you get a DAC which, in the objective areas where you wouldn't really want it to be anything other than objectively ideal, such as crosstalk and jitter, this performs fantastically. And then in the areas where it's a bit more subjectively up for debate as to what's preferable, including the harmonic distortion profile itself, you get a DAC which performs in a slightly tube-like manner. Now, this isn't a desktop or rack form factor flagship killer or anything like that. It's not going to go toe-to-toe with really high-end DACs, but it is really quite good sound quality for the money, even ignoring the form factor. To my ear, the resolution is ahead of the Luxury and Precision W2131, and it's not far behind something like a desktop Gustard X18. Imaging is laser precise, likely thanks to that excellent crosstalk and jitter performance, but it also just offers a nice relief from the often clinical and sterile sounding nature of many products in both the portable and desktop form factors around this price point. It's a bit warmer, it's a bit more mid-range texture forward, and whilst it's a really stereotypical term, it's simply a more musical presentation. The one area where it does seem to struggle a little bit though is in soundstage depth. Now, imaging, direction left to right, is pinpoint accurate, but in terms of how far away it presents things from you, everything is just a little bit fixed in terms of that depth. Overall, I really like the Phantom DAC. It's a unique form factor that I sincerely hope we see more of without a compromise in performance. As someone who goes to audio shows and meetups quite a bit, this can be really useful for testing out amplifiers with a consistent reference point and not having to carry around a bag of DACs and adapters. Performance is generally ahead of basically all of the dongle products that I have tried. And whilst it's not necessarily beating certain desktop class products like the SMSL SU9 Pro, just in terms of pure technical performance and resolution, it's really not that far behind, and either the form factor or the warmer, more tubey presentation are probably going to win quite a lot of people over regardless. If you have any questions about the Woo Phantom DAC or any other gear, music, or any topics at all, join my Discord server and you can ask me and other Wiggly Air enthusiasts there. Content like this is made possible thanks to support from my awesome Patreon supporters and from headphones.com. The analyzer, which allows me to test products objectively, was funded in large majority by support from patrons. And if you'd like to join the private supporters only Telegram chat, get access to videos early, and help support me in making content like this, then head over to patreon.com/GoldenSound. I hope you found that video interesting and useful. Until next time. A huge thank you to my crazy Summit Fi supporters, Chief Big Time, Dan Mellinger, Jiden the Shiba, and Joe, my Legend tier supporters, Chris, CK Yozizawazu, and Gravitas, and my Diamond tier supporters, Naivotsu, Clockmeister, Desert Scrub, Ixnay, Yan R, Yaiwei Lee, Spellio Fool, Vincent Go, and White Sea Studio. A huge thank you to all of you, you are fantastic, and a big thank you to everyone else who is supporting me. I hope you enjoyed that video. I'll see you next time.